Friday morning, going for a ride, waiting for the sun, beautiful moon in the sky, should be a good day. I did an interview, I went for a ride yesterday morning and I was full of energy and I had multiple intentions. I was testing a gravel bike over yonder. I was going to compare it with my road bike just behind me. I was going to talk about evolving genres of cycling and the uptake of bike riding in Sydney and a whole lot of things that were on my mind. And then I got home and I was about to start editing, and then I got a call, or rather a text message from Jesse Korf saying, "I'm free to talk now, let's go." And I thought, okay, great, I'll do that. So Jesse Korf is the new Executive General Manager, Performance for AusCycling. And in theory, that's a huge deal. Like, it's a big role, it's a job with a lot of responsibility, and I wish him all the best. If you followed Right Media over the years, you know that I've talked about that position in particular quite a lot since 2017, let's say. But before that, I've been closely involved with people who had held that job. But it's sort of been in decline since I began in the cycling world. Just to sort of give you a quick timeline, it goes like this. Charlie Walsh was involved through to and up to the Olympics in Sydney in 2000. He was pulling the strings of the Australian cycling team. It had different names. It was managed by Cycling Australia. It had a strong track focus, and I don't really want to talk about Charlie Walsh pretty much ever. Whenever I do, it's filled with angst. Some people like him and a lot don't. So it becomes one of those conflicting discussions, ones that cause a bit of heated debate. And my views on Charlie are best kept to me. I had a few run-ins with him over the years, and I don't even want to talk about it. But the point being that there's been this evolution since I've been involved, and Charlie was at the helm for a long time. Then he went through to the Sydney Olympics and Shane Bannon took over, and he basically guided Australia to what was an enormous achievement in Athens in 2004, and to be clear, it's the Olympic Games which has been the focus of that program, and I think it will continue to be. Which sort of leads me to a point I'm going to make in a minute. But so Shane, to be honest, was the most successful man in that role. Yeah, let's be clear. Not only did he achieve the 6 gold medals in Athens and a whole host of other conquests in the time that he was involved, by being pragmatic, considered, and combining track and road and mountain bike and professional team responsibilities and national team expectations. He also went on to establish it's the Green Edge project, let's call it. It was Shane who went to Jerry, or Jerry who went to Shane and said, what can we do to get this team happening? And all the elements were put into place, and by 2012, boom, they were on the road. And there was an Australian team car following the convoy with a Aussie flag on the side, and that's what Jerry Ryan really wanted. Boom, conquest achieved. That team continues to evolve, and it has less of an Australian flavour than it once had, but it's still an Australian registered World Tour team, both men's and women's, and I think probably Jerry Ryan is the person who deserves the most applause when it comes to the evolution of Australian cycling in the administration circles, because it's a topic that generates a lot of heated debate, but it's a topic that I follow closely, and it's a topic that I'm no longer really interested in. So, Jesse, thanks for the discussion yesterday, but I think Australian cycling is in decline at the moment. I don't know why. I think there's been numerous opportunities to really milk the interest that's come to cycling. since 2004, the 6 gold medals at the Olympic Games, which should have inspired many people to come and ride a bike, but there was no real legacy of that. So that's when I started to question why there was this Olympic focus, this dramatic, considered, overwhelming focus on a 4-year campaign, which would come and go and basically leave little impact on the uptake of cycling, certainly competitive cycling. Membership numbers for the National Federation, certainly road and track, has been stagnant for many years. Actually, I reckon it's in decline. I'm not a member of any club. I'm not a member of the Federation. And that's because I have no intention of racing, and I spend most of my time talking or writing about cycling. And these days I'm doing it a lot and I'm enjoying it, but there's no need for me to be a part of a club because I like to ride on my own. And there's myriad reasons why other people aren't members of the Federation, like AusCycling. The more that I talk about it, the more frustration I get. The more angst that comes my way, and the more feedback I get from people encouraging me to continue doing it. But I can say one thing, it's not earned me 1 cent. It's not a profitable exercise at all. There's a reason why Ride Media is one of very, very few media outlets that reports on the administration of cycling, certainly in Australia. It's a boring topic. It's a topic that has attracted comment all over the social media spectrum, and very little of it is very kind. And I think it's pretty obvious that I've taken a backward step. That backward step came because of a phone call a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to go into it, but let's say it was someone high up in the administration game of cycling in Australia who basically pulled the trigger, said a few things, and allowed me to sort of refocus, allowed me to collect my thoughts and wonder, is this worthwhile? And my conclusion was no. I'm going to go and ride my bike and encourage others to do the same instead. And I still think that I've been doing that for quite a while, and I hope to think that some of these videos that I make on this YouTube channel and the things that I write on ridemedia.com.au and the magazines that I've published over the years have encouraged people to, you know, have a look at the bike and consider it, and follow a bit of bike racing and enjoy themselves with what cycling has to offer. Yeah. I think I've played a little part in encouraging people in Australia to ride bikes. This next comment's not from ego, but I think I've done more than AusCycling has to encourage people to ride bikes. AusCycling is a relatively new entity, and I've been around doing this thing for a long time, as I keep saying. So that's not a real boast, but I think that it's time for AusCycling to sort of come out and start making some headway, and start doing some of the things that it says that it plans to do. We've been waiting patiently, biding our time while Manufacturer does the back end stuff that's required, as it brings a whole lot of entities together, a whole lot of cycling disciplines, and puts them into one group and prepares to go forward. I'm still optimistic, but the more that I think about it, the less that I want to report on it. There's heaps of people who are involved who I really like, but it's evolved to a point where I don't think there's much interest. And I think that's a great shame. I don't think it's just me who's sort of losing the desire to follow the machinations of administration that might see our sport prosper. I think it's a lot of people who are just thinking, stuff it, I don't care, I'm not going to read about it, I'm just going to ride my bike, and when the races are on the TV I might watch them. And if I get to see them go past my place in events like the Santos Tour Down Under or the Cadell Evans Great Ocean Road Race or things like this, then that's fantastic. There's the World Championships coming up in Wollongong, and that's very near to here, and I can't wait, and I'm going to be heavily involved if I can be. But I don't want to be involved in the administration of cycling, and I don't want to report on it anymore. It doesn't serve me well mentally. It doesn't serve me at all financially. It gives me a lot of angst. And I'm grateful for all the encouragement that I've received over the years for the things that I've had to say about cycling and how it could be administrated, how it could be better managed. I think I've called a lot of people out who have been detrimental to the sport, but that's come at considerable personal cost. I've been attacked, I've been bullied, I've been attacked online, I've been bullied, I've been abused, and I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to live the good bits of cycling. I guess I didn't have any intention to sort of spill my guts like this in front of the camera, but I'm doing it because I'm just waiting for the sun to come up, and I want to enjoy my ride today. I've had interrupted days on the bike for various reasons, and that's a shame, because I love going for my bike ride. I get exercise, I clear my mind, I feel good, I encourage everyone to do it, and if you're watching this, you probably understand why I'm saying that, because bike riding's unreal. So, Jesse, I wish you all the best. I hope you can do what you're trying to pull off. It's a big undertaking, and you're dealing with an infrastructure which is in disarray. I could give you a couple of examples of the lackluster performances of some people involved, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go down any defamatory route. It's not defamation, it would just be facts, but it's not kind a lot of the time. And I'd much rather say positive things than negative things. I hope all of that makes sense. It's not even clear in my own mind, but I'm just trying to escape the stranglehold that reporting that I've sort of succumbed to because of my desire to sort of allow the legacy elements of initiatives over the years to build. I don't understand why there couldn't have been more bike riders after the 2004 Olympic campaign by the Australian cycling team. It should have ignited a whole wave of interest. When Cadel Evans won the Tour de France in 2011, it was an unbelievable opportunity for the sport to grow in Australia. Membership numbers, again, stagnated. They didn't go anywhere. It was just they plateaued. More people didn't come to cycling. More people didn't come to competitive cycling because of what they'd seen on the television in France in July 2011. But Cadel's built something from his conquests at the Tour and the World Championships and many other races, and there is a legacy from that. But the administrators of the sport didn't tap into the opportunity that came its way. We fast forward another 10 years and we get to the pandemic. And when that all began in the lockdowns of March and April and May and onwards of 2020 and beyond, people started looking for alternatives for exercise, for transport and for entertainment and activity. And they came to the bike, and there was a wave of interest. The bike shops sold out. And still numbers of membership, and still the membership numbers. There's no growth. There's a lot of talk. There might be action in the back rooms, but we see none of it and we hear very little about it. I keep being told that there's good things coming. I've been waiting a very long time for that to happen, and now I'm just going to observe. It's only now that I sit here and try and sort of summarise why it is that I'm so disillusioned by it all, by the administration of cycling in Australia, that I realise that the huge potential that exists has never been tapped into. The people who have come to the sport and have offered something tangible, people like Heiko Salzweed there's a long list of people, but it was Heiko for me who really made me understand that there was opportunity that could be leveraged to help grow this beautiful thing called cycling. And he built a setup. He established a setup at the AIS that allowed bike riders to prosper, and his influence should never be underestimated, but it's gone now. Rest in peace, Heiko. I will miss you forever. There is a world of opportunity in Australian cycling. If you ride a bike and you haven't yet raced and you sort of have that desire to be competitive, I would strongly recommend it. If you join AusCycling and it goes well, can you please let me know? I'd be interested. I would really be interested. If you're a member of AusCycling and it's going well, please let me know. I'm going to go for a ride. I can just see the light rays, the ray of light appearing, and I'm keen to get on the bike. I hope some of that made sense. Thanks for watching. Okay, hit me up with the comments, please. I'll be, fill me in. Let me know what you think. I don't know if it's just me in the early morning at the end of a strange week, but I don't know. I think we're missing out on something that could be heaps bigger.